Hello and welcome to the Joe Ligato Show. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Ligato, and today we're going to be talking about science and technology, and in particular, artificial intelligence. It's a topic that I really loved talking about back when I was a program director. And this is an article in The Verge called Intel CEO, We're Going to Build AI into Every Platform We Build. And I'm going to tie this into global geopolitics, international relations at the end as well, because I think it's really important for international relations, and people don't really realize how artificial intelligence is changing international relations. So let's dig into this article. So Intel is about to launch Meteor Lake. So this is from a few months ago. They've already launched it. Its first chip with an onboard neural processor, and it's just a start. So this is an article by Sean Hollister, who is a senior editor and founding member of The Verge. Okay, so Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger was very bullish on AI during the company's Q2 2023 earnings call, telling investors that Intel plans to build AI into every product that we build. Okay, so this organization thinks that AI is extremely important. And if you look at various earning calls for a ton of different types of organizations, the talk of machine learning, artificial intelligence, it's becoming very prominent because we're recognizing how many things we can do with artificial intelligence. And well, I guess this is a good point to bring it in. There's something called Moravec's paradox, where some of the basic body movement, sensory motor types of skills are actually really hard for us to program into an AI. But the more rational reasoning skills that are required for jobs that pay a lot more money, those things are actually easier for us to program into an AI. And so there's increasing evidence that some of the jobs that pay the best are going to be the jobs that are easy for the AIs to actually do. We see this across the board with things like being a lawyer, being a politician. We see sometimes AIs are even being CEOs right now. They could play chess, they could play Go, they could play a ton of different types of video games, League of Legends, Dota 2. So all these things that might require a ton of what we would consider complex thinking are actually pretty easy, whereas other more just having balance and movement is actually a lot more difficult for us to program in. And so I think that a lot of jobs are going to be taken away by artificial intelligence in the future, and people just aren't recognizing it yet. It used to be the case that people thought it would only be the simplest of jobs, but now we're realizing that a lot of more complex jobs can also be taken away. And then we're also realizing it's not just logical jobs that AIs can do, but also creative jobs, such as creating paintings, creating imagery. We're seeing things like Blue Willow. I can't remember what the other one's called. I can't remember. But there were a few different image generation softwares that I tinkered around with, and I plan on using more in the future. And it's very clear that these things are going to take away creative jobs as well. And so no matter what, we assume that AIs are just going to make our lives easier and not going to completely take away our jobs. And that's what it's currently doing. But I can see far enough ahead, a few decades at the most really, that AI really could do nearly every job that currently exists. And people might say, well, there are past times with industrial revolutions that various technologies took jobs away, but we created more jobs to replace them. And what people don't understand about that is, yes, we are creating new jobs, but on average, those jobs require more skills, more qualifications, more experience in order for people to do that. And so there's a creep in terms of the necessity of increasing education for the average worker. So it used to be the case that to do the average job, you need like a middle school education, then it was high school education, then it was a bachelor's degree, then it was a master's degree. And now we're getting to the point where it's like you need a doctorate degree, and then you need to continue studying for the rest of your life in order to have a good job, a living wage in America, in the world right now, because artificial intelligence is really taking away so many jobs at this point. Okay, so that's something to consider, that yes, we've created new jobs in the past, but they've always required people to upskill on average. Okay? And that should be very concerning, because there comes a point where you can't upskill anymore if you're a biological being. We have a capacity for how much we can learn throughout our lifespan, because we do have a finite amount of lifespan and we do have a finite amount of learning that we can potentially do in that time period. So just something to consider. But anyways, let's get back to the article. That's why I think a lot of these big tech CEOs and big businesses and big government, which we'll talk more about at the end, are very gung-ho on artificial intelligence because they realize the potential for it. So this article goes on to say, later this year, Intel will ship Meteor Lake, the first consumer chip with built-in neural processor for machine learning tasks. AMD recently did the same following Apple and Qualcomm. But while Intel previously suggested to use only its premium new Ultra chips might have those AI co-processors, it sounds like Gelsinger expects AI will eventually be in everything Intel sells. Absolutely going to be the case. Gelsinger often likes to talk up the 4 superpowers or 5 superpowers of technology companies, which originally included both AI and cloud, but today he's suggesting that AI and cloud don't necessarily go hand in hand. Gelsinger, today you're starting to see that people are going to do the cloud and goofing around with ChatGPT, writing a research paper, and that's like super cool, right? And kids are, of course, simplifying their homework assignments that way, but you're not going to do that for every client because becoming AI enabled, it must be done on the client for that to occur, right? You can't go to the cloud, you can't round trip to the cloud. All of the new effects, real-time language translation, your Zoom calls, real-time transcription, automation, inferencing, relevance portraying, generate content in gaming environments, real-time creator environments through Adobe and others that are doing those as part of the client, new productivity tools, being able to do local legal brief generations on a client, one after the other, right? Across every aspect of consumer, developer, and enterprise efficiency use cases, we said that there's going to be a raft of AI enablement, and those will be client-centered. Those will also be at the edge. You can't round trip to the cloud. You don't have the latency, the bandwidth, or the cost structure to round trip. Say inferencing at a local convenience store to the cloud. It will all happen at the edge and at the client. Okay, so they're talking about local artificial intelligence instead of having it be somewhere out there that you just ask questions to. And I'm going to eventually have a local AI on my computer. I just haven't gone around to it yet. I think I actually have a good enough GPU to do that now, so I'll have to look into that. Again, AI is going to be in every hearing aid in the future, including mine, at a different point in the call, whether it's a client, whether it's at the edge platform for retail, manufacturing, and industrial use cases, whether it's an enterprise data center, they're not going to stand up a dedicated 10 megawatt farm. On one hand, of course, Intel CEO would say this, it's NVIDIA, not Intel, which makes the kind of chips that power the AI cloud. NVIDIA is the one that rocketed to a 1 trillion market cap because it sold the right kind of shovels for the AI gold rush. Intel needs to find its own way in, but on the other hand, it's true that not everyone wants everything in the cloud, including cloud provider Microsoft, which still makes a substantial chunk of its money selling licenses for Windows PC. This January, Windows boss Panos Panay attended the launch of AMD's chip with the built-in neural processor to tease the AI is going to reinvent how you do everything on Windows. And those weren't idle words. Someone named Tom now believes Microsoft's new AI-powered Copilot will change Office documents forever, following that tools reveal in March, and Copilot is also being integrated into Windows itself, but Copilot is currently powered by the cloud and will be a $30 monthly subscription per user. The next version of Windows is the one to watch. A leak has already suggested that Intel's Meteor Lake and its built-in neural engine is pointed at Windows 12. Okay, so now to tie artificial intelligence into geopolitics. I have said for over a decade now, I think it's probably like 13-ish years, that artificial intelligence is going to get to the point where the majority of people are not going to need to work to live, and they're going to have to figure out other things to do. And also artificial intelligence is going to get to the point where it starts to iterate on itself and improve itself over time through those iterations. And so once you reach what is called the singularity point, whatever nation is the furthest ahead in artificial intelligence is going to reach that first and is going to leap ahead by light years. And I believe this is the case. And I suspect that various nations throughout the world, such as the United States and China, also believe this is the case. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to have this AI arms race where they reach that point first, that singularity point first, so they come out ahead and they become the superpower for the foreseeable future, that is AI powered, artificial intelligence powered. And I thought this was going to occur by 2050. Now it's looking like it might occur by, I'm thinking 2035 maybe. But we're seeing that even if you don't believe me about what's going to happen with artificial intelligence, it's very clear that both the United States and China are having this artificial intelligence arms race because they think that there's going to come a point where artificial intelligence is going to give them a high degree of advantage over their competitors if they stay out on the cutting edge, if they stay in first in this regard. So very, very cool to see this connection between artificial intelligence and international politics. So if you found that to be helpful, informative, please give us a thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm. Please subscribe to our channel for more content on YouTube and Rumble. Tell a friend about our channel to help them open their eyes to all these interconnections between psychology, business, science and technology, geopolitics, et cetera, et cetera. Leave us a comment in the comment box below, questions, concerns, critiques you might have. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.